Hi everybody, it is Julie. Welcome back to Pages and Pens. Today I'm here with the beginning of my ContemporaryAthon reading vlog. Let's jump right into it. Today is Monday. It is 10:10 in the morning and I've been doing a lot of reading already. I could not fall asleep last night for reasons that we will discuss at some point in this vlog because my mind is blown. Also, I read a little bit last night, just audiobook, hanging out because sleep was not going to happen, and I owned that. Then this morning, I did a whole bunch of driving around with the kiddos, and I listened to more audiobook, and then I sat here, did a little cleaning, folded a little laundry, put on a little tiny bit of makeup so I don't look ridiculous for the start of this reading vlog, and continued to listen to more. So I have been listening to, My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Frederick Backman. I was on page 114-ish, I think, this morning. I don't know. I'd have to go on Goodreads to see. I'm currently on page 270. I got this much left. I will finish this one up at some point. I will check Goodreads right now. Am I cheating? Yeah. That's a thing that I do. I'd already been listening to it, so I was already kind of reading that one. It said I was on page 164. I was here. I read this today. The floppy part, I read that today. I will continue with this. A little bit on Friday, I started 8 Perfect Murders by Peter Swanson because I was like, I have the whole weekend. I'll probably be able to read it before ContemporaryAthon even starts. That didn't happen because we had like a sibling-ish weekend where we did stuff with my sisters and my brother-in-law, and we did dinners and brunches and mimosas, a lot of mimosas. I drank my weight in mimosas this weekend. My liver is angry. Like, I don't drink. Despite having a live show where I drink, I really don't drink. I had more wine and champagne or Prosecco this weekend than I have probably my entire life put together. It was a weekend. And I got to page 44 in 8 Perfect Murders. I am so intrigued. I am definitely enjoying it. This one will definitely be in my TBR for this week because I really want to read this. Plus, I don't know when it comes out exactly in March, but I am really enjoying it. It's legitimately a book about a man who creates a blog post with the 8 most perfect murders in literature, and then like a policewoman comes and she was like, I think there's similarities here. Like, I think people are trying to start to reenact these things. It's very interesting. I did not give you a premise for My Grandmother Told Me to Tell You She's Sorry. This one is about a little girl whose grandmother passes away. And after her death, she's following all of these letters to drop off to different people for her grandmother to say she's sorry and basically ask them to watch over the granddaughter. The POV is a 7-year-old who's going on 8. She's very smart. She's really kind of like world wise. Her mom and stepfather are expecting a new baby. Her dad is remarried with other kids. She's really feeling displaced. Her grandmother was like her person. So she's just trying to figure out where she fits into all of this. And her grandmother wove this giant fairy tale world around this building that she lives in and all these other apartment residents. And she's starting to unweave the fantasy from reality and figure out how people within there fit into the fantasy world and what their roles are, and kind of seeing them through the lens of society versus this fantasy and the role that her grandmother put them in. And it is so human and so raw and so beautiful. And I thought I would be really annoyed with like a young protagonist and having a young POV, but it really is very precious. And I'm really enjoying it. This one ends at 370 and I'm on 270, so I only have 100 more pages left of this. I will probably be able to listen to this by the time I go grocery shopping today, grocery shopping, back to grocery shopping, back to car line, driving over to dance class. I've got some audiobook listening to do. And then I already have my audiobook downloaded for Solitaire by Alice Oseman. This one is recommended by Cade as well as a new to me author. This one is green and illustrated and hard-hitting. I mean, both of them are pretty dark and hard-hitting. So that covers like a whole bunch of my challenges. Bring to work read. This will be my audiobook read. I've also decided that I am most likely going to do the Chelsea Darling Reads vlog style. I think I'm going to do like a Monday, Tuesday, a Wednesday, Thursday, and then I will do a Friday, Saturday, Sunday vlog. So I will have 3 vlogs. That's going to be the schedule. This is this for right now. Let's talk really briefly about this craze that's kind of going on Twitter and BookTube and just like conversations taking place in general right now about inner dialogue. I don't know the specifics, and I haven't done a ton of research on a lot of this because it isn't necessarily relevant to me. I have inner dialogue going constantly in my head. I always have like a running tally, or I'm thinking to myself. The idea of like not speaking to myself in my own head, very foreign to me. And then I also speak out loud to myself a lot. There's times where I just talk aloud to myself, which I realized apparently is not something that everybody does. But I always have an inner monologue. I don't know how to like link that to a creative brain, but I just have always been a very introverted, in my own head kind of a person. So I do a lot of my thinking internally. What I didn't realize until recently, because this kind of led to another question that has kind of taken over Twitter, which is this whole like visualizing the apple challenge, where like you close your eyes and you try to imagine this like juicy red apple with a stem, and then it gives you options of like where on a spectrum you fall, of like what you see. I'll try to put the picture up if I can find the picture. What you see when you try to visualize an apple. If you've not seen this on Twitter, you're not on Twitter, you're not on social media, this is kind of like the big thing everybody's talking about. And it's essentially just your way, like how you visualize in your own mind, how you see things in your own mind. So you fall usually somewhere along the spectrum of being able to see like a vivid red apple in your mind. You can picture it all the way down to like, red but like muted, or like a more grayscale. Is it 3-dimensional? Is it 2-dimensional? Can you flip it? Can you turn it? Can you then take a bite out of it and see that there's a bite taken out of it? This whole thing, right? I realized that I am at the 0 end of this scale. I don't see anything in my head. And it has blown my mind. And I know it doesn't change the way I live my life. It doesn't really change anything about me. Like, identity crisis that is all because of like a viral internet thing feels very weird to me. And I'm trying like not to make it a big deal, but I legitimately came to the realization like yesterday. So I still want to do a whole bunch of research and figure out more about it. But basically, if I close my eyes and try to picture something, the way that I visualize it to myself is through words and descriptions. And I don't know if maybe that like lends itself to my writer side of things, but if I were to close my eyes and describe or try to visualize like my perfect home library, for example, I know I want it to be this color wood. I know I want it to be this kind of window so that I have light coming in. I know I want this kind of a desk and this kind of a reading chair. I can see it in descriptive words. So I can see it in my mind because I'm writing it and detailing it. And I know I want it to like, I want this to be here and I want that to be there, but I can't physically see it. I just can break it down in detail, which is cool to me as a writer. That works for me as a writer, because if I then go to try to set up a scene or set up a room with characters, the way that I visualize things is to write it basically in my head and break down all of the details. I can't just say like, blue lacy curtains would look pretty here, and then like visualize it. I'd have to like again with my internal dialogue be like, oh no, I think this color works better. But I'm basically just like mapping things out, but I can't actually visualize it. So there's no pictures in my head. I do have pictures in my dreams. So if I dream, I can visualize and see things in my head while I'm dreaming. If somebody were to say, what did you dream about? I can explain it in words. I can say, it was a red crab. It was pinching my toes. I ran away from it. There was a whole bunch of people on the beach and they blocked my way and the crab kept chasing me and I couldn't get away from it. But I couldn't replay it in my head. Like once I wake up, I can't replay the visuals. I can only go through and give you a step-by-step in words. I can pull up visual memories. Like I can recall what somebody looks like, or I can recall maybe like a scene of a memory of something that I did kind of in my mind. So like, I don't know how that works or what that means, but like memory wise, I can pull that up. It's very strange for me to realize that this is something that I can't do. I mean, I've always not been able to do it, right? But then like it's brought to your attention because of some like viral craze. And now I'm like having a little bit of an identity crisis, and I know it doesn't play into like my everyday. And it probably plays to my strength as a writer. It probably helps me more than it hinders me. I'm not a artistically gifted person, like as in terms of drawing or painting or anything. My friends were asking me, they're like, how do you write your characters? Like, how do you write scenes? Do you not see it play out as a movie in your head? I'm like, no. And I realized that that might be why I really suck at fan casting, because I don't picture characters when I read. So when I read a book, if I read like a fantasy book and somebody's like flying on a phoenix, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Logically, I know what a phoenix looks like, you know, like, because I read the description. I can imagine what it would look like, but I'm not picturing it in my head as I read. That apparently a lot of readers have, where it feels like you're watching a movie because you're visualizing it. I don't have that. So I don't see characters. I logically know. You told me he's tall and he has brown hair and he's got green eyes or whatever the heck he has. So logically I know what he probably looks like, but I'm not picturing him in my head as I'm reading. Let me know. Do you have inner dialogue? And where do you fall on this whole like Apple scale, guys? I watched one video where somebody who had the same thing talked about it. I don't even know if I'm like, I think they did like a 1 to 10 scale, and I may be like I might be a 1. There's no images running through my head at all. And honestly, with the amount of words running through my head, there probably wouldn't be room for it anyway. But I can't even imagine. I didn't know I was missing something, guys. And now I've been informed that I am missing something, and now I feel left out. So let me know, comment down below what you think about this whole thing. If you have any links or information or anything that you think might be like relevant for me to know about, definitely let me know in a comment down below, because like right now my mind's kind of blown. I want to do more research and look into it more, but I also am trying to like not WebMD myself and like freak myself out, even though I know there's nothing wrong with me. I'm gonna go read and try to forget all this, because it really is legitimately kind of freaking me out a little bit. A quick update in, because it is 9 o'clock on Monday night, and just getting back from work, and I want to take off my makeup, and I want to get in bed, and it's been a day, a long one. So I did finish My Grandmother Told Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Frederick Backman. This is, it's so good to see the way the grandmother wove this community of people together and accumulated these people that are kind of broken but really love each other. It's a very heartwarming story told through the eyes of a child, which is always a really unique and cool perspective. And I love the way that Frederick Backman writes relationships and writes community. And I mean, it's still a 5-star read. It's just not quite a Bear Town kind of a situation. Listening to Elsa, who's 7 and turns 9 at the end of this book, and then looking at the little kids that I nanny for that are like 7 and 9, I'm like, do you think this way? Like, she's so mature. There's so much going on in her little mind that she's got to like kind of deal with. I don't know. It was really heartwarming and really beautiful. And there's just like the best doggo. So a couple trigger warnings. We do have trigger warnings for substance abuse, for alcohol abuse, for cheating, for abandonment, for death of a grandmother, death of an animal, physical violence. There's a lot that this little girl goes through. I mean, not all that is directed at her, but this community that kind of is around her. It can be a difficult read at times. It's hard, but you see it through her eyes, so it kind of makes a little bit of what happens a little bit less visceral, because it's told through a fairy tale lens, but you as an adult reader understand what happens, and then eventually she understands what happens too, and she understands the place that these characters, she understands the role that her neighbors take in this fantasy world, and she sees them as like these human, you know, she sees them for who they are, and it's really beautiful. I loved it. And I'm excited because Britt Marie from the other novel. Was it Britt Marie is Here or something? Britt Marie is in this. So I get to know her character. And then I think that book follows Britt Marie after this book. I didn't realize that they were at all related. But when Britt Marie showed up in this, I was like, I hope I'm not spoiling myself. I don't think I am. Which I'm very, very happy about. I read more than half of it. I'm counting it. I was on page 40, I think, of 8 Perfect Murders earlier today. I am currently at 130. So I read just about 90 pages of this one. I am going to continue with this one tonight because I talked to Madison and we are going to read this tomorrow. We're going to split this up between Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'll just like halvesies this. And I think it's just barely 200 pages. Yeah, it's like 220 pages. So I'm going to halves this one and read this half tomorrow and half on Wednesday. So tonight, I'm just going to focus on 8 Perfect Murders, which I am loving. There's very little I can tell you about this just because of the nature of thrillers and the way that this is like kind of weaving together. But it is so compelling. It is so cool. Like, I'm not even worrying about clear post-it notes in this one. I'm just writing in this bad boy. I think, you know, like once I get to a certain point and I realize I'm going to enjoy it, I'm going to be okay just actually physically writing in the books. I do prefer physically writing in the books. It's just that I got so in the habit of annotating my books. Last year I legitimately had a 50-50 split of annotating books and not annotating books. And the like 37-38% of audiobooks really influenced that number. So physically, if I looked at the physical books that I read versus like annotated versus not, I'm sure I annotated 90% of my books. I want to annotate, but I need to get smarter about it because once they're annotated, I really get stuck not being able to sell them back. And I don't want to have to keep books that I don't love. I know I'm going to like this one enough, so I'm just writing in it. Read half of both of these tomorrow. Finish both of these Wednesday, and I'll have 4 books down. That's going to be my game plan, I think. I'm going to go read, and I'll touch base with you guys later. But, like, a 5-star read. This is chalking up to be a 5-star read, too. I'm happy. I'm a happy woman. I'm going to go keep reading. The makeup is off. It's like 10 o'clock. It's been a minute. Listen, I don't read a lot of police thrillers. I don't read a lot of murder mysteries. Like, this is not my genre. So I'm used to, like, twists and turns. Like, I get that there's gonna be twists and turns. And I'm annotating, like, theories and thoughts and, like, I wonders. But then there's, like, shit is coming out of left field. They're coming out of left field, but not in a way that feels like it would be unbelievable if you go back and look at things a little bit differently. So it's not like they're so wild that it annoys you or that it's ill-crafted. It's just like, well, duh, of course that. And I don't know if, like, other people who read a lot in this genre will get these little things before I did. Oh, my mind is blown. Okay, I'm gonna go back to reading. Dude, it's 11 o'clock. A little after 11 o'clock. I should be going to sleep, but I don't. I have, like, nothing left of this book to read, and there's not a chance in hell I'm going to bed before I finish this book. My annotation is literally just run, dude. Run, dude. Oh. Alright. It is just shy of midnight, and I finished 8 Perfect Murders. I went from page 40 today to, my eyes are so blurry, 270. I have thoughts, I have feelings, I had theories, I had predictions. I don't really think I was right on, like, any of them. Some of them, kind of, maybe. I don't know. Listen, it keeps you guessing. I am not a fan of unreliable narrators at all. I never have been. But I do think a certain amount of that is necessary for a thriller. And I think this one does it really well. One particular twist that I wasn't, like, a super fan of, but at the same time, I get it. I think I'm going to go 5 stars. Did I really just start off this readathon with 2 5-star reads? I think I did. All right. I'm going to go to bed because it's really farking late. I will start Solitaire tomorrow as my audiobook, and I will start Be Not Far From Me and in the role of Brie Hutchins. Good night. it is day 2. It is 10 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. I've been listening to an audiobook of Solitaire for the morning while I uploaded my footage from yesterday. I want to start to try to edit because I do have a break today until like 2 o'clock, but then I work until almost 8. So I want to have this vlog almost ready to go up before I have to leave for work again. I got just about 100 pages in. I think I'm on page, not 100 pages, about 80 pages in. I'm on page 79. Audiobook is going really quickly, and I have stopped to make a couple of tab marks. I have not continued with this. This is my buddy read with Madison, and I need to get to about halfway through this book, and I'm on page 15. I'm still getting to know the characters, but I enjoy our main character. She's not quirky, she's just relatable, right? Like, she's super introverted, but she puts on this like extroverted shell when she's out and about, and she's very like morose and dark, and I relate and I get it. I don't know, I'm really enjoying it so far, so fingers crossed. I also did just get my audiobook in. Like, I got my notification from my library that I got my audiobook for a man called Ove, and it is 9 hours long. I feel like I can probably get through that relatively easily. I also have Darius the Great is Not Okay, and this one is 7 hours long, 7.5 hours long. I don't know, I wasn't anticipating it, but I've already had that audiobook out once and had to return it because I didn't have time for it. I really don't want to have to do that again because the wait for it is pretty long. It would be a Bachman heavy audiobook week, but I'm okay with that as long as I can still commit to getting some physical arcs and physical books read. But like, I'm ahead of schedule, I'm doing okay, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'll let you know. We'll see. I am about to head back to work, and I go back from 2 to 7:30, so I'm probably not going to read anything aside from like running a couple errands and probably listening to some audiobook of Solitaire. I did read more of Be Not Far From Me by Mindy McGinnis, and holy hell, like, you know Mindy McGinnis's writing style, you know it's gritty, you know it's raw, you know that it is incredibly gruesome. So when you have a survival story of somebody who falls down a ravine and you know an infection is spreading in their leg, like that's on the synopsis, you know it's gonna get gritty and real and raw, and holy hell does it. As you can see, I am annotating this one as I go, probably halfway through. I was hoping to read some of In the Role of Brie Hutchins today. I don't think that's going to happen at this point. What I will probably, well, should I? You know what? I will take Brie, and I'm going to read that today. I'll take it with me because I do think I have a little bit of time that I'm gonna need to sit in the car at like a dance class to wait for it to open to pick something up that was forgotten yesterday. And I'll leave Be Not Far From Me here, even though I really want to just keep reading it. I think if I keep reading it, I'll just finish it. And I told Madison that I was going to read it today and tomorrow, so I don't want to read ahead. So I will take this and I will read this instead. Wednesday, Thursday, for the vlog portions, I will have an unboxing of Unplugged Book Box in that as well, so stay tuned for that. In the Friday, Saturday, Sunday one, I'm going to review my end of the year stats from 2019 because I never did a dedicated video to it, and I feel like now it's too late. So I will probably have my like end of the year stats and like graphs and everything in that. It is about 8:30 at night, and I just got back from work. I have not made dinner, I've not eaten dinner, and it's late. So I think I'm gonna listen to Solitaire while I make dinner. I think my nighttime reading tonight will be in tomorrow's vlog. So stay tuned for tomorrow to see what I actually get through tonight, but I'll update you on what I've read so far. In the Role of Brie Hutchins, I am on page 44, chapter 5. We're following an 8th grade girl, and she desperately wants to get this specific role in her Catholic church. I think she's starting to question her sexuality. All of her friends are starting to like boys, and she has this crush on like a soap opera star. And she's like a huge soap opera person. So before each chapter, there's like a scene or like a breakdown of a show of General Hospital specifically, which I used to watch and haven't in ages. Her mom walks in on her when she's looking at nudes of one of the soap opera stars, and she just kind of blurts out like, oh, I've got this big role in the Catholic Church, so don't question what you just saw. And there's this whole process that goes into actually getting that role that includes like an essay that she has to read aloud and all this other stuff. So she's been struggling with her grades, and now she has to try to get this role so that her mom won't question her. And it doesn't sit great with me. And then also there's a comment in here that I actually flagged where the mom says, you know, if you want a snack, she gets home from school, she's like, if you want a snack, I just shopped, so there's stuff in the cabinets. And she's like, are there Pop-Tarts? And she was like, yeah, but only one. She was like, they're put in a pack of 2 because they're meant to be eaten 2 at a time. And she was like, yeah, but you don't need to. And then there's this whole discussion about how she doesn't have her like mom and her brother's like lean build. So she just keeps kind of like burying herself further into a lie in 8th grade. I can kind of get it. She also seems to be a girl that like a lot of the boys like, and her boy crazy best friend likes all of the boys, and she's kind of like, why can't I? So I don't know if there's going to be conflict eventually because one of the guys likes her but not her friend. I'm hoping not. But as of right now, it doesn't read fantastic, but I believe the author is queer. I'm hoping the representation ends up being really good in this. There is like already kind of an inkling that there might be a female love interest. And I'm hoping it kind of comes together, but 40 pages in, I've had a couple issues where I'm like, I don't love that rep. I know mothers talk to their daughters like that. I get that. I don't know. I just feel like we could do better. Like, we all know people treat people like that. The daughter doesn't really question it. She doesn't really push back. And I don't love that for her or for young readers reading this, to think that it's okay for a parent to talk to you that way. I don't love it. So there's that. I've been listening to a lot more of Solitaire. I am considerably further than I was earlier. I am currently at page 152, and I am really enjoying this. I need to go back to Radio Silence and see which character from there shows up in here. Charlie in this book is breaking my damn heart, but so is Tori. She does not have things easy, and I'm kind of just waiting to see how all this works out, but it's really cute so far. There's a lot of content warnings for suicide, suicide attempt, eating disorders, disordered thinking. So we're going to see. I'm going to go listen to this while I make something to eat. But yeah, it's late. So I need to wrap this up and upload this footage so I can edit and get this vlog up for you tonight. So you'll see this tonight while I'm probably eating, and then hopefully getting to bed at a decent hour. And then I will have another vlog for you on Thursday night, and then another one on Sunday night / Monday morning. We'll see. If you have any information on aphantasia, leave me some info down below, because I'm still wrapping my head around that one, and I haven't yet. Head back to my TBR video and enter the giveaway if you have not yet. All the information will be on that video. And I hope you're reading something fantastic. Are you reading something fantastic? Go read something fantastic. Let me know down below. Aphantasia, where you are on that whole situation, and also what you've read so far. In the middle of 3 books, finished 2. I'm crushing it, and I still got graphic novels on deck. Anyway, we're fine. That's gonna be it for this video. If you liked it, be sure to give me a big thumbs up, click subscribe. I'll see all of you in the next one. Bye, guys.